Let's talk about fiber. So you might be thinking, oh, low fat, low fiber, low lactose. The reason for that is low fat because things that are high in fat also cause diarrhea. So a little fat is okay. Of course, we need fat in our diet. I'm talking about things that are really heavy that sit in our belly. Think fried, think creamed, think red meats, high in saturated fat, that kind of stuff. So you want to look for leaner foods, a little bit of a healthier profile, and not those really heavy fatty foods. I'm just going to change my view. Low insoluble fiber. So remember, constipation, we talked about how effective insoluble fiber is. We kind of want to move away from that. We're not trying to aggravate that. And then low lactose. Low lactose because even if a person is perfectly fine with digesting lactose, dairy, not usually an issue. Whenever you have that irritation that is happening on the lining of your GI tract, sometimes we're just a little bit more sensitive to certain things, and lactose tends to be one of them. So I usually say during that time that you're having some GI distress, you're having that diarrhea, maybe that's a good time to send those lactose foods aside. Know that you can come back to them later, or maybe just choosing lactose free. And you can try any sort of combination of those things. Now we're going to up that soluble fiber, right? We're going to try to pull water in. We're going to try to bring it together. So we're talking about things that are like thickeners, right? Pectin, applesauce, bananas, the brat diet, right? Pulls water in. So that can help with slowing down or kind of, bringing a little bit of solidity to our bowel movements. Not to say that it will absolutely work, but definitely increasing some of those soluble fiber foods. Also psyllium, which is a soluble fiber. So if you want to add a little bit of Metamucil, Citracel, that ups that soluble fiber as well. Now, one of the things that you also may be thinking about is if your GI distress, particularly your diarrhea, is also causing some gas. Think of those things that tend to be gas forming, right? So cruciferous vegetables, sometimes our beans, we may want to pull back from having them. And again, as much as we love our plants and we are a plant forward group here, there's a time for everything, and this may not be it. So cruciferous veggies, legumes, avoiding straws and chewing gum because we tend to suck in air. When we're chewing our gum, our mouth is open, we can take in more air. Using straws, we can take in more air. So we're trying to really limit that abdominal distension and that discomfort. So that's why I mentioned that there. And then those natural stimulants, right? Caffeine, alcohol, spicy foods, things that can be an irritant or a stimulant. We want to limit those for right now. Let's go back to the sugar alcohols, right? So I mentioned prune juice is really high in sorbitol, and which helps for constipation, but not so good for the diarrhea side of things. So sugar alcohols tend to show up in our sugar-free and our diabetic foods, candies, beverages, that kind of thing. Anything with an OL at the end is a sugar alcohol: sorbitol, xylitol, mannitol. So you want to avoid those because of that stimulating effect.